Welcome to Learn Stuff with Dittman. Last weekend, I hosted 10 panels in 1 hour at First Squared in Milwaukee. You are now watching a recreation of those lessons. Let's go to panel number 3.
All right, I want to introduce you to my favorite game ever. It's called Free Stars, the Ur-Quan Masters, also called Star Control. I tell literally everyone who plays games to play this game. That's literally everyone except for the people who are going to be joining me on my D&D campaign that I plan to run on Free Stars, because I don't want them to know the story. They can still watch this, though, because there's going to be no spoilers in this. Anyway, so aside from them, everyone should play this game, and it's free. It's free. It says it in the title, but it's actually free, so there's no excuse to not do it. Okay. I have been obsessed with this game a long time. As you can see, it's been 3 days. No, actually, that's not right. It released earlier. It released in 2002. And by 2002, what I mean is 1992. Okay, this game has some history, and it's released a few times, but we'll get to that. So what exactly is this game anyway? Well, it's sci-fi, obviously, exploring space. It's open world. It's one of the first open world games of all time, and it's one of the first to actually do it pretty well. You can explore planets, mine planets. You can meet aliens. This alien looks pretty mean. Let's destroy it. All right, we're trying to destroy it. Actually, it looks like it's destroying us. Oh well. I'll mention Mass Effect one more time here. I think the biggest difference between Mass Effect and this is that in Mass Effect, all the combat is on foot and you're using guns and stuff. And here, it's more of an arcade thing between spaceships. But yeah, so if you know all that, you've got a really good idea of what the game is, honestly. Okay, I just said there's one game, but there's not. There's several, and it depends if you want to count the ones that are re-releases. But anyway, Star Control was the original name. Star Control 2 is the one I'm talking about, and if you see the asterisks, the Ur-Quan Masters was a re-release, freeware. That's when it became free, and then 2024 is this year when it became free on Steam, which means it's easier to get. Oh, and it's compatible with Steam Deck, so another reason to talk about it. And part of the reason they're doing that is they want people to play this before they release the sequel, finally. I don't know the actual date. I wrote 2026-ish. I've been following the development, and that seems about right, but we'll see. Oh, and which of these games is good? Well, the first one is good. It's kind of small, and it's kind of just the teaser for what's about to come. Star Control 2 is the game we're talking about, the one with asterisks, and it's amazing. Star Control 3 was supposed to be the sequel, but it is by different developers, and I don't want to say they didn't try. They did try to make a good game. It just did not work, all right? They didn't phone it in. It's just whatever happened, they were trying to answer the wrong questions, do the wrong things. So yeah, most people don't like that game. Also, we need to talk about Star Control Origins, which is yet another developer who purchased some of the rights of Star Control. Basically, there was a trademark and there's a copyright, and they got one but not the other. And it was confusing, and there was a lawsuit, and we won't really talk about that. But basically, they did a reboot of the series, sort of, with new aliens and such, and it kind of worked. It was missing a little bit of the magic, but it's not a bad game. Anyway, that lawsuit is part of the reason why the game I'm talking about isn't called Star Control anymore, because they can't call it Star Control, but they still have the game and everything. Anyway, continue. Actually, I don't have time to talk about this, but I really wanted to include this slide. Okay, next slide. Alrighty, let's talk about some stuff. It is an old game, which, just general, if you're not used to old games, maybe this will seem a little weird to you. I think it holds up really well, except for just a couple things. One, just the culture of the 90s is there's a couple bits that are iffy now. All right, unfortunately. The rest of it is just like it actually does a pretty good job of teaching you what to do, but it's not a specific tutorial, so you'll have to figure that out. And it starts with some pretty difficult combat too, so you might want to practice that. Yeah, basically, if you're not used to these old games, then maybe it won't be for you, but in general, I think it holds up. Okay, there's also the question of do you want to go in blind or not? I personally think everyone should go in blind to everything. Well, okay, maybe that's that's a bit too much, but I think people should go in mostly blind to this game. I will say there's a printable star map that came with the original box copy that the developers of the original game are expecting you to have. So there is some info in there that is useful. I still think you can play it without it, but eventually, maybe if you start to get stuck or something, you should take a look at that star map because there's 2 bits of info in particular that are in there that aren't actually in the game dialogue anywhere. So I don't want you to like get stuck on the game just because you didn't have info that was available to you. But if you want to know, if you want to use that and get those hints from the get-go, that's up to you. My personal opinion is just go into the great unknown instead of having an idea of where some things are to start with. Before we finish, look at all these names. Look at all these names. These are all people who love Star Control. So just last week, they posted a video with all of these people in it, praising the game and saying how excited they were for the re-release. And we've got some big names here. We've got games like Fallout, Mass Effect, BioShock. I've already skipped a whole bunch of big names. But anyway, I actually don't think you should watch the video because they have a couple spoilers in it. I don't know why they did that. This should be an advertising video that I could share, but no, I don't want you to get spoiled. So anyway, that'll be it. Unless you have any questions. And actually, I did get a question for this when I talked about it actually at First Squared when I did this. The question was, are there any furries in the game? Okay, let's go to this next slide and take a look. Here's that title page again. As you can see, there are a variety of aliens here. There also is one in particular furry race in the game, but they don't happen to be in this picture, unfortunately. Also, that furry race is one of the ones that's a little iffy with modern cultural understandings. So I'm interested to see what happens with them in the upcoming sequel. No spoilers, but the good thing is that this race is on the verge of a cultural shift. So for the new game, I expect that problem to be fixed, and I know the developers are aware of it. So I'm excited to see that. Well, that answers the question from the real life presentation. If you have an online life presentation question, ask it in the comments below, and I will get back to you in 3 to 5 light years. Yes, I know that's a distance.